I'm not going to waste any time. There was a whole 2 hours of content between Julius and Zondo that I could have done, but I decided to just drop this part, which is very, very important. I feel like Julius Malema has been waiting for a time to face Zondo about these allegations of him meeting Zuma. He knew what the issue are all about, and we finally get to hear. Let me not waste time, guys. Listen to this.
That he wasn't going to like it.
You have been to President Zuma's apartments or hotel rooms in Durban more than twice through your own statement that you issued or read in the...
Please just repeat, I didn't hear it.
You have been to President Zuma's hotel in Durban more than twice. That's the account you gave in the statement that you read during the recusal application on his invitation.
Well, I know that I remember one time, I don't know if it's twice, I didn't refresh my memory on the statement, but if you say that's what it says, then it must be so.
Yes, and then it was when you were a judge, and then President Zuma invites you to his hotel room twice or more than that, and then you go. Why was he inviting you? What were the issues?
Well, I haven't. Does the statement say it was a time when I was a judge? Maybe.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, let me put it this way. We knew each other, Mr. Zuma and I. So I think he called, or I got a message that he would like to see me. There was, as far as I'm concerned, no reason why I shouldn't agree to see him. I went to see him. But I can't remember, because that was much later, I can't remember what the issues may have been on that occasion. That was quite a long time ago.
No, acting CJ, as a judge called by such a prominent politician to his hotel room, it can't be a matter that you can easily forget. No. It's a memorable thing. I mean, I remember the day I met Mandela at his house. He said to me, if you want to lead society, you have to cut your stomach. It's too big for a youth president to be a president with a big stomach. Yeah. And I had to make initiatives to meet that demand. So it's a memorable thing. I can't forget that. You can ask me of any prominent person I met when I was young. I remember that. There's no way I'm going to accept that explanation.
Commissioner Malema, I may have remembered if I was meeting President Mandela. President Zuma, I knew him, we had known each other. As I say, it might have been more than 20 years ago when that particular meeting happened.
Then you went to meet President Zuma again at his... there was one time when I also asked for a meeting with him about the 13th or 14 years ago, when he was still out of government, and I met him in his Forest Town house in Johannesburg. On that occasion, I wasted to raise with him a matter that I considered of public importance. Yeah. That was at his house in Forest Town. What is this matter of public interest?
Yes, no, that I can tell you what it was. Firstly, because I remember it, but also because I had a look at his affidavit in response to that statement, and I know that based on what he said in his response, he would not be taking a view that I should not say what that matter was. In a different situation, I might have been concerned whether if I went and had a private meeting with somebody, I would have to then say what we discussed in private. But because he has taken the view which I understood to be that he doesn't mind if I mention it, then I'm going to mention it. This was, I think it may have been 2008. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to check newspapers so I could refresh my memory. What had happened is that there had been some event or function where both you, Commissioner Malema, and Zuma were together.
Okay.
Somewhere. And you spoke at that event. Might have been, I don't know if it was a media conference or whatever, I have no recollection. But you spoke, and I think he was sitting next to you. And if I recall correctly, that's the occasion when you said you were prepared to kill for him.
Oh my God.
I was concerned about that statement.
Okay.
Insofar as it could bring violence in the country, particularly in terms of the atmosphere at that time. It troubled me, but I was more troubled by the fact that when he stood up to speak, he did not say anything to you to indicate that this was not right to talk about killing for somebody in the context of whatever the issues were. After some days, I thought, well, I know him.
He's your friend.
What if this could end up leading to quite some violence? Maybe I should ask him if I can see him and talk about my concern. I made arrangements and he agreed. I went to see him. I told him that I was very concerned because regions, provinces, even a country could be thrown into a lot of violence if leaders do not speak to their supporters and dissuade them from making any statements about violence. I talked to him about the violence that we in KwaZulu-Natal had, which he knew. I think I may have spoken to him about violence in other countries. And I indicated that I was concerned about it as a citizen. I was concerned in case we ended up with violence. I thought that he should have spoken to you. He listened to me, and I give him credit. He understood, but my recollection is that he said he had not spoken to you in public, but he spoke to you in private. That's my recollection. Yeah. I was simply concerned about the possibility of violence.
I knew that that was the case, and I viewed that as a pure political interference by a judge, because that was a statement made in a political rally. And you left, you went to meet President Zuma to discuss my political position as a judge. And you proceeded to sit on matters where the organization I lead, and I looked at you, the organization I lead came to litigate against President Zuma. You have never indicated to court that you knew President Zuma like that, to a point where you can even discuss political issues with him. on 2 court cases that we brought before the Constitutional Court. You said there, never declared like everybody declares here that they know you in this way or that way. You never said, one of the respondents in this case, I know him like this, to a point where I had a political discussion with him about the leader of this political party. Don't you think that that was unethical for you to go and discuss a political statement with a politician as a sitting judge, 2, to go and listen to court cases involving the 2 politicians without declaring that you know the other side of the case?
Well, no, I don't share that view, Commissioner Malema. This was a concern about a statement made by you at the time, at the age at which you were. As a citizen, I was concerned, and it didn't mean that I had nothing against you. My concern was that he should have dealt with the matter in a certain way, because we should not have violence. And I didn't have anything against you, so I wasn't going to be conflicted. I don't know how many years later in hearing a matter involving an organization that you formed many years later. I wasn't going to be conflicted at all.
But ACJ, there is a story that you go and discuss another politician with another politician, and later on, it comes out that this judge who's sitting here has got strong views about you. And he sits here to listen to an affidavit that is signed by you. You are the face of this case. Don't you think that it is actually not in the best interest of the judiciary and for the judges to go and discuss other politicians? Because if you're bringing age, at the age I was, it's immaterial to me. I'm a politician, I'm a president of an organization even at that time. Yeah. I was not a leader of a crèche. I was a political leader of an organization with rich history in this country. And for you to go as a judge to discuss another politician with another politician, that amounts to bringing the judiciary into disrepute. Because now when it comes out is, this judge holds an extreme political views about you. It doesn't matter how many years after. And when we say, why, how? No, he drove all the way to come and talk about you, and he was a sitting judge. Is that not, does that help to enhance the good image of the judiciary, or in what way does it help to improve the good standing of the judiciary in society?
I don't think it creates a problem at all, Commissioner Malema. I think as a citizen, I am entitled, if violence maybe is threatened and I know somebody who can do something to prevent people being killed and so on, I think I'm entitled, even if I'm a judge, if I know that person, I'm entitled to go to that person and say, please, we don't want violence. If there is violence, ordinary people will suffer, will be killed, and of course they might not agree, but I think as a citizen, I'm entitled to do that. And I've never held any strong views against you, Commissioner Malema, political or otherwise. Actually, I have respect for you.
Is it?
So I've never had any strong views against you. You have a certain way of dealing with issues, a certain way of dealing with matters, Sometimes some people don't like it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, ACJ. I've got a very serious problem when I raise issues and I get to be loved by everyone. I'm not money. I will never be loved by everyone. And those who brought me up politically were never loved by everyone. Fought for this country, got ill-treated to their graves.
Yeah.
So I'm not in a business of trying to impress everybody. I'm here to pursue that which I think is right. Others will be happy, others won't be happy. It is their own baby to feed Malta Bella. I'm not in that business.
So much.
Now, I want to go back to the earlier thing of meeting President Zuma in the hotel. This had to be so because we will normally interact when we meet at the opening of parliament or other government or state functions. However, there were 2 or so occasions when Mr. Zuma was not in government, when I asked for a meeting with and I agreed to. When he asked for a meeting with and I agreed to him, I think that this would have been somewhere between 2005 and 2007. He was staying in a hotel in Durban and I met him. There was one time when I was also asked for a meeting with him about 13 or 14 years ago when I was still out of government. This is what we spoke about. So you remember that you met him between this and that in a hotel in Durban twice.
Yeah.
I accept that Zuma is not Mandela, but when you come from KZN, Zuma is the Mandela of KZN. That's why you even speak about the role he played in dealing with violence in KZN. There's no way you can be called by President Zuma twice in a hotel. You remember the years, you remember that it was in a hotel, you remember he was not in government, you don't remember what you were discussing with President Zuma at that time. I know, but there is a rule here that you don't give people, you don't raise issues that we didn't raise with you before. But you, on your own volition, please, ACJ, take the country into confidence. President Zuma asked to see you twice in a hotel. You agreed to go and meet him, and you remember all of those details. The only detail in 2 meetings you don't remember is why President Zuma wanted to meet you.
Well, I certainly don't remember them.
Hold a minute. Zondo, you lie, man. You come on. How can you remember about Malema and then not remember this? He's lying. Is he a deputy?
Malema. The one that I remember, I've told you.
What a lie.
I've told the commission the one that I remember.
Dang.
ACJ, I'm worried that it becomes very easy for you to descend into the political arena. One is these meetings that you had with President Zuma to discuss politics. 2 is these meetings that you have with ease with President Ramaphosa. To discuss this and even go beyond of discussing how he's going to appear and all of that. And anyone who says Ramaphosa's appearance was staged, I'm tempted to agree with them because you met him before. And then you now have a press conference to engage politicians in public, descending into the arena. Are we going to have a Chief Justice that gets easily available to meet politicians at their own comfort? We don't know what gets to be discussed there, and when we ask, they don't remember. Will that not even put this judiciary in a more crisis than it is now? Because research has been presented here that people are losing confidence in the judiciary. With an ACJ that visits politicians with ease, I mean, I heard others saying it's easy for you to call a minister and all of that. Those things of ministers are insignificant. We're talking presidents here, so we're not talking those ministers, this and that. Presidents, whereas those that are implicated in what you are presiding over. You meet them with ease. You discuss with them with ease. It shouldn't be easy for any judge. That's my view. To be available to meet a politician. And shouldn't be easy for any politician to be available to meet any judge unless they are prepared when that matter is exposed to disclose publicly with ease what was the meeting about. I'm living here with discomfort that you are a sitting judge, you met a high-profile politician in a hotel twice. You remember all the details. The only thing that cannot be remembered is what was discussed. I don't think that helps to get you to be the CJ of our country if such small details cannot be remembered.
Commissioner Malema, I think
This
you
one.
have made your point. Acting Chief Justice admits to having had those meetings.
It looks like he came to save Zondo this one, because obviously Zondo says he doesn't remember a particular information, but he can remember the one about our kill for Zuma. It's like he planned the whole thing to say, if he's going to ask me this, I'm going to tell him about killing for Zuma. I'm going to gain points from saying that. But then why are you hiding the one about Zuma? It's probably something with a lot of power in it. It's very heavy, and it looks like Julius Malema knows it. But to come and say it, it's going to be difficult, because he can't just come and say something like that. He needs to follow the rules, or he needs to just let Zondo say it himself, which he's never going to say it. How do we have a CJ who knows something but cannot say it? I mean, I thought judges never lie. I thought judges tell the truth every time. I thought judges are to be trusted. A judge says, I remember this, but I can't remember this. Now go and commit crime now. And then go to court. If you say, I don't remember this, you're in trouble, my man. They want to force you to remember. But here is a judge, a CJ. He's a CJ, obviously. He's going to get the job. Here is a CJ, a Chief Justice of the country. 2022, Chief Justice Raymond Zondo. Here is Chief Justice. He says he doesn't remember. It's not like it was going to make him lose the job if he was going to tell us. But I do not remember, but I remember these certain events that concern you, Malema, because you were saying you want to kill for Zuma, but I do not remember the one where I was with Zuma, potentially discussing something that is huge to this country. A CJ. I've been saying since Monday that I have a problem, since Tuesday, I have a problem with Raymond Zondo, Judge Raymond Zondo. I have a problem with the fact that he's too conflicted. Now look, we have the evidence, but people are still going to say, no, he's the best man for the job. Every judge can be the best man for the job, but there would be one judge that has all the credentials, but you can never trust them because they have some smaller skeleton, like Batawile said, to hide. Anyway, we welcome the appointment of Chief Justice Raymond Zondo in South Africa, but I'm not satisfied with his answers. Guys, thank you very much. Until next time. Next week is Ramaphosa doing the State of the Nation. We already know what he's going to tell us. Coronavirus, blah, blah, blah. Shut